Hello everybody, I'm Rachel. I am the scientist in residence in the West Bend School District with Riveredge Nature Center, and I am here to talk to you today about some bird basics.
Hi, I'm Mary. I'm on the staff here at Riveredge. I'm an educator and one of the naturalists, and we're here to talk about bird basics. And one of the things that you can use to help you identify a bird is its general shape and size. And so right now we're going to talk a little bit about size, and different birds that you may be familiar with are different sizes. And one that you may see quite frequently in your backyard is a real common bird called a sparrow. It's about a 4-inch bird and generally brown, but that's about what it looks like. And many different species of sparrow, but all of them are roughly about 4 inches. So we're going to call that a small bird. Relative to that is a bird that is a little bigger and that you're probably familiar with, the robin, which is a common backyard bird. And there are many other birds that are in that same group of birds called thrushes. And that would be a medium-sized bird like this ribbon thrush, which is a bird that's about 6 to 8 inches in length. And so that's a medium-sized bird. And then one that you are also probably very familiar with is a very large dark bird called a crow. And that bird can range in size up to 7 or 18 inches of length. And it gets, again, easier to tell these things because they're a much bigger bird and often much slower when they fly. So we have a small bird like a sparrow, a medium-sized bird like a robin, or a large bird like a crow. How is this going to help you? Well, as birds kind of don't stay in one place very long, it's sometimes easier to look at its general characteristics and then try to look it up in a bird book. And if you know its general size, that would help you to figure out exactly what it is. We talked about birds being different sizes, with the sparrow being a small bird, robin being a medium size, and a crow being a large bird. We all know that birds, as they start to move around and fly away from us, even a large bird is going to look smaller as it gets further away. So that's why knowing approximately what its size is going to help you when you try to identify it. So the birds on these fence posts kind of represent the crow. And you can kind of see as that crow gets further away from you, it's starting to look like a much smaller bird, even though it's still a large bird. So we've already talked about the size of birds, and now we're also talking about shapes of birds. And we looked at the overall shape of birds. They can be sleek, or they can be plump, or they can be bulky. But now we're looking at specific parts of the bird and the shapes that they have. Each different species, depending on what they eat, have a different shaped bill. So this bird is a predatory bird. It has a curved and very sharp bill for tearing its prey and being able to rip it up before it tries to swallow it. This bird has a long, thin bill, and it uses that bill to be able to dig into the ground and get worms and grubs. This bird also has a large, thinner bill, but that bill is used for catching little tiny minnows in the water. So the bill shape determines what the bird eats and where it finds its food. So now we also have birds that have different shapes when it comes to the shape of their head. And this bird, and both of these are waterfowl. They are both birds that would live in water. But this bird has a very funky kind of a hairdo. Those are its feathers sticking up on its head. And so it looks like it has a little mohawk. So, but this bird, also a duck-like bird, has a more rounded head. So the shape of the head can be helpful in trying to identify one bird from the next. Now we have another group of birds over here, and these birds can be identified. They're both in the same group too. They're both grouse, but one has a big fan-shaped tail, and that's a ruffed grouse. This is a different kind of bird. This is a sage grouse, and it has a rather stumpy, pointed type of tail. So tail shape and bill shape and shape of the head can all be different ways of identifying a bird by shape.
All birds have different shapes. There are many different shapes that we like to talk about here at Riveredge. such as slender as a swallow, downright bulky as an owl, chunky as a meadowlark, or plump as a grouse. Again, all these birds have different shapes and ways to describe them. In this image, you can see that there are the bird's actual shape as well as its silhouette. I encourage you, whether it's from your window or from walking around your yard or even going for a hike, to start to use these two tools. So what size bird are you seeing? Is it small, medium, or large? Also, what shape are you noticing? Is the bird a little bit plumper or is it sleek and slender? It's great to use these tools to start to make observations about the birds that you're seeing, and this will help you to start to identify what birds you're noticing. So get on out there and start checking out those birds.